British Airways has historically been one of the most prominent international airlines, but how good is their domestic UK network? To find out, I took the longest British Airways domestic route in both economy and business class, from Inverness in the Scottish Highlands to BA's hub in London Heathrow, to find out just how good British Airways are.
And that is why we are here at Inverness Airport, to take British Airways on the longest domestic route from Inverness to Heathrow in both economy and business class, to see how good British Airways is on domestic routes. So anyway, I won't waste any more time. Let's just jump right in. Let's go.
Inverness Airport is the largest airport within the Scottish Highlands and serves as a hub to the Scottish Islands. Getting into the main check-in hall, it's quite early, so I wasted no time in getting through security. And just out the window on the apron was our British Airways A320. Soon just after the EasyJet flight had started boarding, our flight to Heathrow was also called for boarding.
Hello.
Thank you, back steps, please.
Perfect, thank you. Boarding now, British Airways flight down to Heathrow. We are on this first leg in economy. We'll be coming back up in business class, but for this first leg, we're going down in economy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Getting on board the British Airways A320, the seating in economy is in a 3-3 layout.
Okay, so that's us on board now, the A320 down to Heathrow on British Airways. It's quite nice. I'll just show you around the seat real quick.
The legroom on BA's A320 with a bag under the seat is fine. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. The seat itself also has a recline function as well as an adjustable headrest, which has some decent padding. After the EasyJet flight to Bristol had fully boarded and started taxiing, we also fired up our engines and taxied our way out to the runway for takeoff. And as we were taxiing, the safety demonstration was given. Taking off out of Inverness Airport, we begin our 1 hour 40-minute flight down to London Heathrow, getting some great views of the Moray Firth and the city of Inverness before heading through the clouds.
Okay, so that's us in the air now on our way to Heathrow. So far it's been pretty smooth flight. The takeoff was really nice out of Inverness. It was good to see Inverness for once, because usually take off the other way from my experience of flying in and out of Inverness. It looks like we're going to get a snack and water. So yeah, pretty standard for an economy run on British Airways so far.
The clouds break up a bit over Loch Lomond, and as we pass over Glasgow, the crew came around with the complimentary snack service. A breakfast oat bar was handed out, as well as a bottle of water, and soon we were passing over the southern coast of Scotland and into England. In the back of each seat, you'll find a High Life Cafe magazine, which shows all the options for food and drink that can be purchased on board. And not long after, the crew came around with said buy on board service. And of course, I went for a coffee, which came in the form of a coffee bag. The coffee was okay, but personally, I like my coffee a bit stronger. As we pass over Manchester and Liverpool, we begin our slow descent into Heathrow. Approaching Heathrow, we would be put into a holding pattern for about 15 minutes before beginning our final approach for landing. With an absolutely buttery landing, we arrive into London Heathrow Airport, the home of British Airways. Pulling up to a remote stand opposite Terminal 5's main building, we are disembarked into buses. And as I make my way through transit, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? It helps the channel out immensely.
So there we are. What did you think of the economy class on British Airways from Inverness to Heathrow? Personally, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I can't really complain. It was a pretty decent flight. But anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back up to Inverness in business class. So anyway, let's start that by going and checking out the British Airways lounge. Okay, so I'm going to try the Southern Lounge, South Lounges, the British Airways ones, because I think probably it's the largest one is going to be the least busy. Hopefully, got space. Pretty busy today.
If you're liking these videos, then please consider becoming a Patreon. The link is in the description, and anything you give goes into making videos like this one.
Hi there. Perfect, thank you.
Getting into the lounge, I decided to grab myself a coffee and plant myself down to do some work on the laptop. However, due to how busy the Southern Lounge is, this would be harder than I originally thought. Eventually, me and my now pet cup of coffee found a table and chair which, ironically, happened to be directly opposite the coffee machine. I also decided to grab myself some food and a beer. And being from Aberdeen, I couldn't possibly pass on my hometown beer.
Okay, so this lounge is actually really nice. I have no complaints about it, apart from one, which isn't so much a complaint with this lounge, but most business class lounges, if I'm honest. It's that all the seating seems to be like lounge layout rather than a like desk or even tables, which would be better for a laptop, which would be better for people doing business rather than just lounging out. I think the lounge sort of style should be sort of kept for first class. I don't know, I might just be nitpicking here, but it's just me. I came here to have a bite to eat and plan to do a bit of work, but took me quite a while, as you saw, to find a table. So yeah, it's just a little gripe with most business class lounges these days, is that they're too much lounge and not enough business. But anyway, you can see I've got some pasta and some vegetables. I'm gonna have that, my coffee and my beer, and get some work done.
Food and drink wise, there is a good selection of hot food in the lounge, as well as a nice salad bar, and just behind the customer service desk, you will find the self-service bar, which has both soft and alcoholic drinks on offer.
Right, we've had a good time in the lounge now. It's time to go to the gate, because we've only got about 45 minutes until boarding. So let's get down to the gate and get on the business class flight back up to Inverness. The lounge was quite busy, which was a bit tricky to get somewhere to sit down, but it's not their fault really. They can't help it. They cannot help it. So yeah, I don't know what can be done really. The lounges here take up like a huge amount of space in Heathrow Terminal 5, so I'm not sure what can be done. One thing I would say as well is that the food selection was actually pretty good for the lounge, and it didn't really run out or anything, which sometimes happens in some lounges. So I was quite impressed at that the buffet didn't sort of like stop at all, and the drinks and everything were all fully stocked, and there was plates and everything. Cutlery was all good. Yeah, that was pretty good, so really cannot complain with that. But anyway, let's find out where we are. Inverness. Okay, it looks like we're departing from the A gate, so we're actually in the right place for once. Going to trek our way across the airport. Yeah, things are looking up for us on this channel. No rain, no having to trek through an airport. Oh yes, we are living the high life now. But anyway, A gates. Don't know which A gate it is yet, so I might just find somewhere and sit myself down. And then hopefully we'll be on our way to Inverness. All things going well.
However, on this channel, things never go as smoothly as that.
Okay, so it currently looks like our flight is delayed by 20 minutes. So, not much we can do about that. It's the last leg of the day for the aircraft, so if it's delayed on one leg, it's going to be delayed on all of them. So, these things happen, but it's always an inconvenience. Good thing I don't have any other connections at the end, apart from getting home. Okay, we have our gate. It's A20. Let's get ourselves over to A20 and get on board. Bit of a delay, but not too bad. And certainly not the worst delay I've ever had. Okay, and here we are at gate A20. Flight is displayed and delayed. So yeah, let's just take a seat and wait for the flight.
Getting over to the window to catch a glimpse of our aircraft, we are in for a treat. As it turns out, we will be flying on the British Airways A320 with the Better World special livery.
Okay, it looks like we can start boarding soon. We're in group 1, so we'll be boarding first, just after the people that need additional assistance and parents with kids. And then we'll be on board on our way to Inverness.
On British Airways flight, we ask that customers...
There's a bit of a laugh at the gate, because it's a busy flight today. They had to check a lot of bags, so people were a bit not forthcoming with bags, so they had to tag them randomly, which caused a bit of a further delay. So nothing we can do, but yeah, we're at least getting on board now.
Getting on board British Airways business class on the A320, or Club Europe as it's known, the seating is once again in a 3-3 layout, with the middle row blocked out.
So this flight just got a bit special with the special livery out there. I believe it's the One World livery. You can correct me down below if I'm wrong. I'm not up to date on all the liveries for British Airways, but I believe it's the One World livery. I've seen it about a lot, and I thought it'd be really cool to fly on one, and just lucky today that we are flying on it. It's improved. It has improved.
In business class, you will find that the headrest cover is BA branded. The legroom is about the same, though you won't have to put your bag under the seat, as there is plenty of overhead bin space. The seats are the same as before, with a recline function and an adjustable headrest. Soon after everyone was boarded and settled, we were pushed back from the stand and once again taxied our way out to the runway for takeoff. Taking off out of London Heathrow, we once again begin our 1 hour 40-minute flight back to Inverness in Scotland. Not long after taking off, the meal service was started. On today's flight, there is a vegetarian and non-vegetarian option. I went for the non-vegetarian option, which was a cold platter of meats and chutney, along with a dessert of mousse and a hot roll on the side. Drinks were also given, and I went for a glass of red wine. For a short flight, this was all honestly delicious and surprisingly filling. Well done, British Airways.
So we've just had the meal service. The meal service was small and quick, but fantastic. Yeah, really nice. Cannot complain about that. The quality of the food was really nice. Red wine was really nice. Yeah, can't complain at all. Yeah, well done, British Airways. Well done, you've impressed me with that. I think we've got about 30 minutes left of the flight until we begin our descent into Inverness. As you can see outside, it's just all cloud cover, so there isn't much we're going to be able to see until we're actually penetrate through the clouds on the way down into Inverness. So don't know what the weather is like down there. It may have turned.
Once the meal service was finished, we were just beginning our descent into Inverness. Landing back into Inverness, what can I say about British Airways domestic service? Personally, for what it is, it's fine. Considering these flights are mainly designed as feeder flights for people connecting to and from international routes within Heathrow, the service is of a good quality. And for the price I paid, it does offer competitive value for money. It's nowhere as cheap as budget carriers, but when you book these flights as part of a connection, the price plummets compared with a standalone fare. So what did this flight cost me? Well, as you can see on screen, the economy fare cost me £47 one way, and the business class fare cost me £126 one way. So honestly, not bad value. So if you like this video, then please consider checking out this video here, and as always, we will see you all in the next one.